Nuremberg trials were held by the Allies against representatives of the defeated Nazi Germany for plotting and carrying out invasions of other countries across Europe. It was held between November 20, 1945 and October 1, 1946, where 24 of the most important political and military leaders of Nazi Germany were tried. 12 of the 24 were sentenced to death. Martin Bormann, who was one of the 12 sentenced, was tried in absentia. It was later confirmed that he had committed suicide in May 1945. Hermann Göring, the highest Nazi official to be tried at Nuremberg, committed suicide by ingesting cyanide the night before his scheduled execution. All the culprits were hanged on October 16, 1946. Here are the last words of each of those 10 guys. Before moving forward, don't forget to press the subscribe button. Now back to the list. Number 1. Hans Frank. Hans Frank was the Reich Law leader from 1933 to 45 and Governor-General of the General Government in German-occupied Poland during the Second World War. Before his execution, Frank repented and returned to the Catholic Church. He answered his name quietly when asked to enter the execution chamber, and when asked for any last statement, he replied in a low voice that was almost a whisper, "I am thankful for the kind treatment during my captivity, and I ask God to accept me with mercy." Number 2. Wilhelm Frick. Wilhelm Frick served as Minister of the Interior in Adolf Hitler's cabinet from 1933 to 1943, and as the last governor of the Protectorate of Bohemia and Moravia. He was also instrumental in formulating the notorious Nuremberg race laws, which forbade the marriages between Jews and Germans, and the employment of German females under 45 in Jewish households. 69-year-old Wilhelm Frick was nervous when he entered the execution chamber and stumbled on the steps of the gallows. His last words were, "Long live eternal Germany," before he was hooded and dropped through the trap. Number 3. Alfred Jodl. Alfred Jodl was the German general who was the head of the Armed Forces Operations Staff and helped plan and conduct most of Germany's military campaigns during World War II. He entered the execution chamber nervously with his Wehrmacht uniform half turned up, as though it was hurriedly put on. His last words, which he calmly uttered, were, "My greetings to you, my Germany." 4. Ernst Kaltenbrunner. Ernst Kaltenbrunner was the chief of the Reich Security Main Office from 1943 to 45. He was the highest-ranking SS leader to be tried at Nuremberg. He was smoking a cigarette while waiting in the condemned block and was told to put it out. He entered the execution chamber nervously, but walked steadily up to the gallows. When asked to make a last statement, he said, "I have loved my German people and my fatherland with a warm heart. I have done my duty by the laws of my people, and I am sorry my people were led this time by men who were not soldiers, and that crimes were committed of which I had no knowledge." As the hood was over his head, he uttered the German phrase in a low voice, which when translated means, "Germany, good luck." Number 5. Wilhelm Keitel. Wilhelm Keitel was a German field marshal who was the de facto defense minister of Nazi Germany from 1938 to 45. He signed a number of criminal orders and directives that led to numerous war crimes. He entered the execution chamber with his head held high and walked erect towards the gallows with a military bearing. His last words were, "I call on God Almighty to have mercy on the German people. More than 2 million German soldiers went to their death for the fatherland before me. I follow now my sons, all for Germany." Number 6. Joachim von Ribbentrop. Joachim von Ribbentrop served as Minister of Foreign Affairs of Nazi Germany from 1938 to 1945. He was able to stay stoic till the last moment. When asked whether he had any final message, he said, "God protect Germany," and then added, "May I say something else?" When interpreter nodded okay, he spoke his last words in loud and firm tone. "My final wish is that Germany should recover her unity and that, for the sake of peace, there should be an understanding between East and West. I wish peace to the world." Number 7. Alfred Rosenberg. Alfred Rosenberg was a Nazi theorist and ideologue who is the author of the seminal work of Nazi ideology, The Myth of the 20th Century. He was also known for his opposition to Christianity and played an important role in the development of German nationalist positive Christianity. He served as the Reich Ministry for the occupied Eastern Territories from 1941 to 45. He did not appear nervous when he entered the execution chamber and walked steadily up the gallows. When asked whether he had anything to say, he uttered, "No." Number 8. Fritz Sauckel. Fritz Sauckel was the plenipotentiary of the Nazi slave labor program from 1942 to 45. He entered the execution chamber with a wild-eyed look. He screamed from the gallows, "I am dying innocent. The sentence is wrong. God protect Germany, and make Germany great again. Long live Germany. God protect my family." Number 9. Arthur Seyss-Inquart. Arthur Seyss-Inquart was the Reich Commissioner for the German-occupied Netherlands from 1940 to 45. He also played an instrumental role in the annexation of the federal state of Austria into the German Reich in 1938. Just like Joseph Goebbels, he walked with a limp and made it to the gallows with the help of guards. When asked to say his final words, he replied in a low and intense voice, "I hope that this execution is the last act of the tragedy of the Second World War, and that the lesson taken from this world war will be that peace and understanding should exist between peoples. I believe in Germany." Number 10. Julius Streicher. Julius Streicher was the Gauleiter of Franconia and a member of the Reichstag. He was also the publisher of the anti-Semitic weekly newspaper Der Stürmer, which became a central element of the Nazi propaganda machine. The publishing firm was financially very successful and made Streicher a multimillionaire. He was the most defiant of all the people that were executed, and the only one to make any reference to Hitler or the Nazi ideology in his final moments. When the guard stopped him at the bottom of the steps of the gallows and asked to identify himself, he shouted, "Heil Hitler!" When asked again, he shouted, "You know my name well." When the request was repeated, he yelled, "Julius Streicher." When he reached the platform of the gallows, he cried out, "Now it goes to God." He faced the witnesses and screamed at them. Purimfest 1946. When asked for his last words, he shouted, "The Bolsheviks will hang you one day." As the hood was raised over his head, his muffled voice could be heard saying, "Adele, my dear wife." That is it. Thank you for visiting this channel. Please press like and share on this video. And don't forget to subscribe this channel. Until next time.